Okay, good day, everyone. This is Dan Setro, and I'm so happy to have everyone on us here today. And without wasting time, I have Dr. Ojo here with me. Dr. Ojo, happy independence to Nigeria, your country.
Happy independence to Nigeria. Congratulations to you guys. Hope you guys
Okay.
had a wonderful one.
Hmm. I'm still waiting.
How was independence? Like, what did you guys do? Did you guys go out, march, sing, celebrate? What was it?
I don't think there is anything that looks like independence here in this country. Because the Independence Day was actually for something else. People now just use it to think about their life, how they can better themselves, and will I say so many people just kept on praying to God to really have what we call independence because I don't think at a point like this in the history of this country, Nigeria to be precise, at 62 is not even crawling. I don't think Nigeria has been given birth to yet. That's my own opinion though. But to just lay that as a foundation, we when we were like few days to independence, the so-called Independence Day, we now felt okay, what could be the possibility of having a true independence in Africa? Now, the question is what we are going to pay attention to today. We have some persons. Okay, we have Ajomale. Wow, it's nice to have you, Ajomale, here because I've been. Ajomale, please, this is the link for you to join us. Ajomale is great.
Amujale. Is it Amujale?
Amujale, sorry.
Okay.
Amujale says salute to Dr. Ojo. So, Amujale, we really appreciate you. In short, today is going to be interesting because I've been like, we need somebody like Amujale to be on ground today because I want to pump you with many questions. Maybe your being in the UK has given you a different opinion about independence in Nigeria and Africa. I want the whole world to know about that. Okay, to start with, we are talking about independence. The word independence, what do people really, how do people really define the word independence to be? Dr. Ojo, do you have a better, based on the fact that you are a doctor, do you have a better way to define independence for us?
Uh, Give me a second, please.
Okay,
I'm trying to
okay,
invite somebody.
okay.
You guys can
Because,
continue.
okay, so while Dr. Ojo is working on that, because if we really sit down and look at the word independence, layman layman expression of the word independence should be talking about allowing something to have its own free will of existence, its free mindset, its free way of doing things, having a choice over what he or she allows or not. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I have Amujale here.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening,
Mm,
sir.
Good
So
evening.
in your okay, while I just try to define independence in my own layman, using my own layman expression, would you say, considering what the rest of numerous countries in Africa has been celebrating, you hear this one celebrating independence, you hear Nigeria celebrating their 62nd independent year of independence, you have Ghana that is coming after us. Ghana, I think Ghana got theirs now 63 or so, or what have you. Now, can we actually say that we are independent in Africa?
Right. I mean, first of all, the concept in itself is 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 shoddy.
Okay.
In the sense that this isn't something that one gives; it's something that one takes. For instance, apart from my parents, guardians, elders, no one can give me independence. It's something that one will take. So in that situation, so now, in that sense, it's just like it's a mute concept. It's counterproductive. So basically, for instance, if you're looking at yourself as a sovereign, so then then you have to take that concept of being independent away from the conversation. And what you like, the topic that you brought forth today, it's important in the sense that you were talking about that are we still under colonization and stuff like that? And the answer to that is yes, because I often say that it actually morphed into colonialism. That's what we're experiencing today.
Okay.
So I mean, and the neocolonialism is basically its definition is something of the sorts that basically still having a huge influence. It's like it's colonization, but just not in the legal jargon.
So if I were to follow what you've just said now, you are trying to tell us that nobody gives independence. You have
Yes,
to take independence.
that's right. Yes,
So it's something that has to be assertive, not not given. You have to.
that's right. You have to take
Oh,
exactly. That's right.
whoa. Okay. So if that is actually what it is, then can you give me like 2, 3 countries in the continent of Africa that is actually going to be declared as independent?
That's the same because it's the concept. It's because since you adopt the concept, then therefore it's a rabbit hole. So basically, I mean, leading to nowhere. So, but in
Wow.
the sense of if you're trying to achieve sovereignty, sovereignty, then that's not even it's not a topic at all.
Okay. 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 So, Dr. Ojo, looking at the fact that the topic is on independence, that is Africa truly independent? Yes or no? Now, can you help us to define your own way? How do you define independence? And which country would you say in Africa is actually independent?
All right, thank you so much, sir. That's very educative and very intelligent question. And I'm glad it is the right time to talk about it because of what is going on in Nigeria and what they are celebrating. So when we look at independence, the concept of independence, right? You can look at it from several angles, from several perspectives, from several viewpoints. But to start with, if I want to go by dictionary meaning of independent, it simply states that is a state, is a state of being independent, right? And then it's also say is a form of freedom that one gain, uh, that one gain from not being ruled by another country, right? So
Okay.
so that's those are kind of dictionary or literal meaning that you can give to that concept of independence, right? So now, if we go by that mere literal meaning or dictionary meaning of what independence means, Africa is not independent.
Okay.
That's the truth.
Yes, totally.
Um,
I agree with you. 100%.
so if we go by my own view on what independence means, which simply means that freedom from all sort of rule, regulation, like absolute liberty without interference of either living or non-living or any form of being.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Absolute freedom. And by that definition of absolute freedom, which independence is supposed to mean, there is no nation on earth that is independent. There's no nation on
Correct.
earth that is independent.
That's right.
Even the Western nation that claim to be given independence, they themselves are not independent.
No,
So
well,
now, now, if we now go by the word itself, how did the word
no, no,
originate?
no. The things that no, those ones that are giving it, obviously they are. If they are the one giving it, how are they not? But
Okay. I think what Amujali, when it's done, you will pick up your own point from that, and you let us know how you feel about what he's saying, so that we can
yes, sir.
benefit from your angles also. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. So Dr.
All right, so
Ojo.
yeah, it's an educative. This is an educative platform, and I'm proud it's one, and we have been using it well for that purpose. And I'm glad to be part of this. Right. So from that word of absolute freedom from all sorts, right? No nation on this planet Earth is independent. First, from my own point of view, because in every nation there are rules, there are regulations, there are laws, there are do this and don't do that. There are people in the other nations of the world, we see them, we witness them even living like slaves because they are more like robotic. They are being trained and configured and programmed like robots. They can't do anything without whatever the government want them to do. Yes, they will pay the penalty, huge one for that matter. So you can call that freedom. So the freedom that we are talking about, or independence that we are talking about, was in the past when this planet existed. From the beginning, from the onset of it, there was freedom. Because at that time, there was no rules, there was no regulation, there was no king, there was no politician, there was human beings were living and doing things based on whatever come to their mind, and they were just existing and they were just doing very fine. That is independence. That is freedom.
Well,
Absolute one. So that is why I said Africa is not independent, because if those that are giving independent out are not even independent themselves, how do you now give it?
So in other words, you can't give what you don't have.
You cannot.
Okay. Okay. Now, let me just come in here, Dr. Ojo, with having you as a doctor in business administration, and we have an historian here, and we are looking at a topic that has to do with several angles: political independence, financial or economic independence, um, moral, or which other level of independence we can, religious independence, um, system of rulership, and what have you. Now, I want you as an historian, Mr. Amujale, I want you as an historian. Can you tell us, can you tell us if you have ever carried out any research with respect to Ethiopia that was never colonized by any country? Can you tell us whether Ethiopia is actually independent or not?
the thing is, the uh, there are multilateral arguments to that. Some historians will say Ethiopia has never been that they've always been independent. That there's never been colonized. In the sense that, first of all, when the Italians were there, it was an occupation. It wasn't um, colonialism in that sense. So in that sense, they're correct. However, there's a different argument, and that goes into olden day history, which is something it's quite sensitive stuff. So, however, but on the surface of it, the people that say that Ethiopia have never gone, that they've never colonized, they are correct in a way.
Okay. So can we now say that Ethiopia is the only country in the continent of Africa that is truly independent?
No, I will agree to that.
You will agree to that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Dr. Ojo, coming from the historical perspective, he is agreeing to that because Ethiopia was never colonized by nobody. Now, can you, as a doctor, a profound one as that, can you tell us if Ethiopia is actually economically independent?
So, from my understanding, there is no country in Africa that is economically independent, right? To include Ethiopia, because for you to be from the angle at we are looking at it, right? Being free, but from being governed or being ruled by other country, right? Can we can we agree or confirm that Ethiopia does not have any form of rules and control from this Western nation, even though they were never colonized by them?
No, Ethiopia. There's something else. I mean, they are something else. I mean, you can't look at them in the sense of the typical African nation. No, not at all. Not at all. They have a higher hierarchy in the in Christendom, which is quite huge. So they pack a punch.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that their economy, Ethiopian economy, Ethiopia resources, Ethiopia machineries. Can we say that there is no any external influence on any of those? Because
I mean,
that's only when we can say that
naturally,
actually.
what I'm more concerned about my people, really, to be fair. So naturally, that will probably be a question for an Ethiopian. To be fair,
Okay. Okay. Now, I want to assume that we are beginning to see a little bit of divergence or a little bit of difference between the way the Ethiopian system is governed with the rest of the African countries. Now, but I know that for us to really narrow this topic down, we should have at the back of our mind the angle we are looking at the word independence. We are looking at
yes,
independence from the angle of political, economical, religious, and otherwise.
yes,
But
that's what I'm saying. Uh,
yeah,
what I'm saying is that basically it is it, um, colonization hasn't ended. That's what I'm trying to say.
okay, okay.
So
Because
based on that, so there is no. I mean, that concept of independence doesn't exist if colonization hasn't ended.
so that means that if what we have just agreed on now by virtue of reasoning, human reasoning, is the fact that there is actually no country in the whole of the continent of Africa that can say that is standing alone, built on their original system of belief, of operation, of way of thinking and doing things. So
No, you're
you
right.
might
Correct.
say that there is no continent, there is no country in the amidst the continent of Africa that is independent. If that is now gotten out of the way, we now begin to look at it that can we look at Nigeria and say that Nigeria is tending towards independence in the nearest future? Can
Yeah,
we
but
even think?
yes, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. We shouldn't be thinking about that because that's the thing. When you're thinking. I mean, basically, like it's something that it should be something. It should be a foregone conclusion. Like I said, it's not like it's something that if you're trying to achieve um, uh, sovereignty, then the terms of looking at it are the terms that I want to achieve independence. No, you want to achieve sovereignty.
Okay. Dr. Ojo, what do you say to this?
Yeah. So, um, yeah, it's a very, very, very. How am I gonna say? I don't want to say. It's kind of a very, very not difficult, but the way we approach this question might be the difference, right? In the sense that practically, if you look at things that are going on in Nigeria right now, even in some other part of Africa, we can say that Africa as a whole is moving towards gaining the independence that we are talking about. To pay attention, independence in quotes, right? Not being governed or ruled by other country. We can say that Africa is moving in that direction, right? We can also say that Nigeria is also moving in that direction, looking at certain circumstances. For example,
The
the
African woman is God.
the for example, the level of intelligence has grown. Information is widely available. The coming generation are smarter and they are very inquisitive and they are asking right questions, which our parents never asked or never cared to ask or didn't really ask, right? So the coming generation or the generation that are growing up now, that are in the age bracket of like I would say like 10 to like 30, they are kind of different in a little bit because they are so bold enough that they ask questions, intelligent questions, and they want answer to it, and they don't just ask, they keep asking. And even when you give an answer, they still keep asking because they are just not satisfied with whatever you're telling them. So based on that, we can say they are moving certain direction of gaining that freedom because it's by gaining that level of awareness, that consciousness. That's how you can be able to detect and say, okay, I'm actually not independent. And if
One of the
not,
marks of
why?
success is when they bring this.
Why? Why not? And then what do I need to do to gain that independence, right? So that's why I say that they are moving that direction, right? But if we look at it from the angle that when they said they gained independence, which was not true, and where they are right now, then other people can argue and say, oh, they are not even close, they are not probably not even gonna get it or stuff like that, right? So it depends on. That's why I said it depends on how we look at it.
Okay. So with that being said, let me just quickly come in from this angle. We are talking about, let's pick Nigeria for example. Nigeria is always referred to as the giant of Africa, which I don't seem to understand where
Yeah,
that giant,
rightfully so. Rightfully so.
I don't
May
see
I
where
add?
that is coming from. Maybe that giant is from a spiritual perspective that is yet to be discovered physically.
It's from it's from
Now,
everything.
oh, okay, it's from everything, including stupidity also, because I consider a country as stupid when you are at the age of 62 and yet you don't have electricity is not constant. You cannot provide your people with electricity. There is no good road network. I think one of these days, what
The thing is, it's the people of Nigeria. It's got nothing to do with the people of Nigeria and Nigeria. They're two separate things.
Okay. Well, I will allow you to react to that. Now, we have no good roads. Then we have low thinking mentality in terms of the kind of election that we allow here. You have election not by competency, not by okay, this person is actually coming on board to deliver, but you have election based on oh, this person has enough money on ground, he has what they call connections and the likes across the geopolitical zone, but there is nothing about oh, let us even listen to you, let's see what plan you have ahead. If you are voted to power, then you have a country where almost everything that is done here is governed from outside. You can see the handwriting of external influences. Now let's shift a bit from Nigeria. I'll still come back to Nigeria. Let's shift a bit from Nigeria. Let's now move to somewhere like Guinea. If you spend time to research Guinea, you will discover a story that will make you almost cry. France came to Guinea. They exploited everything that could be taken from Guinea was taken, and they said they came with what's it called, with education, how to use spoon and fork, how to use this, how to use so
Nonsense.
many things, or some rubbish that can make you so annoyed that do you are people not eating before you came with your fork and
I
your
wonder.
knife
I wonder.
to that
Ed,
location?
education was already there before me. You can't give somebody something that they already have.
So
You can't give
you
somebody something that they already have.
you came in with your own ideology to numerous countries in Africa. But what actually make Guinea's case to be so appalling to me, and I want when I'm done, I want Mr. Amujale to uh, Amujale to talk more about this Guinea issue if you know much about them. The painful part was that when Guinea was striving to get this so-called independence, you know what history has that the French did? Because Guinea was fighting for their independence and French thought of using them as scapegoats for other countries underneath them. You know what they did? History has it that they got back before leaving Guinea. They destroy all the schools. They destroy everything, buildings and the likes that the anything that can be considered a privilege that they think they gave to the people of Guinea. They destroyed everything. And when they did this, they to the extent that some persons even lost their lives, some children and what have you in the work space. Now, when Togo saw this, Togo was also fighting for independence. When the first president of Togo saw this, oh, that was what now made him to say, you know what, French, we don't want you to do what you did to Guinea to us. Kindly let us pay you. Let us be paying you, what's it called? Some amount of money as compensation for what you brought as maybe your so-called enlightenment development that you thought you brought to Togo. Now, that was what now translated to the billions of billions that Togo is owing the French, and they said history has it that when they saw how much that the French brought out that they must be paying every year, it was 40% of their total income, which was too heavy for Togo to bear that period. What then president of Togo now did was okay, we can't continue this because it's actually going to still be slavery continuation. He now decided that they are going to change their currency because This is what the French has been doing up and down. Most of the countries underneath their control, they make sure that they continue to use their CFA.
That's right. Yes.
So now Togo, the president of Togo then now did something that is very smart and intelligent. Decided to change the currency of Togo from CFA. My dear, before we know it, the French, through the use of some special military forces, they killed this president.
Wow.
They killed this president. And now this is just maybe one out of several that they've killed.
22 presidents
Thomas,
have been killed.
yeah,
Yes.
Thomas
France has
Sankara.
killed
Sankara,
22
yes, I remember Sankara.
Since
Very
1963.
good, very good man, that one.
Since 1963, about 22 African presidents have been killed by France.
So you can imagine. So what is now the
Amazing.
independence about? It's like you going to a guy and say, fall in love with me. If you don't fall in love with me, I'll kill you. Is that what you call
What
independence?
we have is
It's, I mean, it's unbelievable. That's what that's the point I was alluding to when I was saying that colonization it didn't end. That it basically it's the same thing, only it doesn't have the legal jargon saying that it's colonization. It's just the same thing. It's just the exact same thing. In the sense that it's just been modernized.
So the whole of Africa today, if I'm to just say my mind, the whole of Africa should forget about saying they are celebrating independence, because actually they are not yet independent. In short, what they are celebrating can be called the dependency. They should call it
Exactly,
dependence.
dependence. Exactly, I'll be celebrating it.
Because
But no, God forbid bad thing. How do you be celebrating? They shouldn't. That's what I'm saying. Basically, the thing is that the concept shouldn't even be something that should be in one's mind at all. Basically, it's what do you call it? Trying to become sovereign. Exactly, that should be the focus, not trying to be independent.
okay, now let me put this question to Dr. Ojo. How do you explain the continent where the military forces must always be trained by some external forces, and
Right.
these external forces must be the one to even approve your purchase of ammunitions? Your weaponry has to go through them and the likes. And do you call that? Because there is no way there is no way a country can be independent when even your security is left in the hand of some other persons. And now you have these numerous Western powers situating their military channels around the edges of our continent. So how do you classify independence when the cheapest thing called security is not even underneath your total control?
Right. So that's why I said depend on how the approach that you are looking at independence and what it means to you, what angle you are looking at it, and how you are trying to approach it. All right. Because the word independence is not our word, it's their words, right? And they use the word in their own favor, right? So if they are saying you are free from our government ruling over you, so you have your own government ruling over you, but who is ruling over our government? So, and that is why it's not an absolute freedom. It's not an absolute independence, and it's not independent at all, because that was the package that was sold to Africans and all the other countries that were colonized in Africa, right? And they knew truly well that, okay, you are ruling over your people, but we are ruling over you. And that is why they are not free and they are not detached from the resources and the gains of the land. And you can't call that independence at all. But the thing is, African itself African itself need to be asking. I mean, the kids and the youth are asking the right question now. The question they should be asking is that how and where did they get it wrong? Because when we look at history, right? African has lived for over 5 million years.
That's right. Yes, yes.
Which means we can trace all of these Western nations and the rest of them to have their source and origin from Africa.
Recent. No, I
Right.
mean, I wouldn't even say that. I mean, my thing is,
yeah,
what I would say, instead of that, I would leave it to them to tell us.
Okay,
Simple.
you can figure it out. They are very intelligent, right? But
Exactly.
if African has existed, if life and human being has existed in Africa for over 5 million years, right? A nation that is over 300,000 years should not really be saying anything near a country or a people or a race that have been around for over 5 million years in terms of age, in terms of existence, in terms of experience, in terms of adversity and challenges where you have overcome, right?
That's right.
So now when we're talking about freedom, colonization, I mean, if you are talking about colonization, who should be colonizing who? If we are talking about freedom, independence, who should be giving who independence? Is it somebody that's been for 5 million years, or somebody that's been around for a couple of thousand years or hundreds of years? So those are the questions that should be coming to our mind, right? Now, when that whatever happened, right? Now the question is, how did they get it wrong and when and where? Because when the right questions start coming out, that is when people will now start thinking and start figuring out how to fix things, right? Now, when they gave them that independence, it was for a reason. It was for a reason. So I have a paper that I stumbled into when I was doing some of this research. Right, it was written by Khalido Diop. He's an author and a basketball player, right? Who said that no African country is truly free or independent. All of them are still being established.
Yes, I also think.
Are still being destabilized and manipulated by
the
colonial master, right?
Yes.
Now he went further to talk about what you were talking about with the Guinea, right? Right.
Yes.
I can really read quickly so that we can gain something from this place, right? So now he said that the European was smart, right? The European was smart. Why? Because the colonial masters, right, had to withdraw from all this. It's not like they gave independence. They had to withdraw simply because of the riot of the people's coming against them or resisting them and their doings. So they withdraw, and then when they did withdraw, they were smart because they did not leave without taking control of their economy and their natural resources in the continent of Africa. So, for example, France was specifically angry about losing their most profitable source of income for their country when the people of Guinea decided in 1958 to be free, to free themselves and get out of the French colonial empire. Now, the French colonial elite in Paris got so furious that in a historic act of fury, the French administration in Guinea destroyed everything in the country, which represented what they call the benefits from French colonization, including schools, nurseries, public administration, building, cars, books, medicine, research institute, instrument, tractor, etc., right? So that was what happened then. And we also understand that most of these francophone countries, right, they still pay huge amounts.
Yes,
that's right.
This French country, and
that's
in total, about 58 billion dollars is being lost. It's been taken from Africa
Teach,
continent to
teach.
other other nations of the world, the Western nations, to be very precise. So we can see that it is very, very imbalanced. I also look into it, right? I say, okay, when we look about who should be colonizing who, or who should be giving freedom to who, right? Right? Who should be empowered, who should be developed, and the rest of it, right? We can look at, okay, statistic wise, right? Numbers, right? Look about numbers. We can look at land space, right? I realized that Asia happened to be the largest continent in the world with 17.2 million square miles or 44.6 square kilometers, right? With about 4.6 billion of the world population, right? So now Africa happened to be the second largest continent in the world. Second largest continent in the world with about 11.6 million square miles or 30 million square kilometer size, with population of about 1.3 billion, right? So now when we look at those numbers and those figures, right, how is it now that those that are second in the entire world in terms of land size and population, with even a greater number of population that is being projected into the future? Because apart from Asia and Africa, other continents has been forecasted to have a decline birth rate because of
Yeah.
low poor fertility and what not, right? So even what we are having right now is just for now. In the next 30 or 50 years, is probably going to double or multiply, right? So now,
Yes.
if God or the universe has kind of positioned Africa to be like number two globally in terms of the land space, in terms of the population, in terms of the natural resources and everything that they have, how is it now that a little country with just who is not even number three, who's not even number four, who is like number six, with just about 3.8 million square miles or 9.9 million square kilometer, is now the one dishing out freedom and dishing out independence to those that we can say, have existed longer than they have been. So the equation is not balanced. The equation is not balanced, and that's where Africa need to wake up and start asking the right question, and start taking the right answer, and start taking the right step. Because yeah,
Those are
I
the
do not see any reason why, if based on the level of damage and injustice done to Africa, why any African country should be paying any money or any fee to any Western nation. It should stop. If
Okay.
yes.
people wake up to their senses and are able to ask the right question, it's not a matter of fighting. It's a matter of a logical debate and
Uh,
asking questions, right
uh,
questions.
that's right.
Okay. Okay. I think
Teach.
my wife has a contribution to make. Okay.
Yes, I like you said that why is Africa still where we are today? I think it's just that you've answered it, that the Western people, they are wise, and in their own wisdom they make sure that they prioritize education. The other day I was talking about education. About 50% of Africans are not yet really educated. So as in, if we are really educated, the education I mean is having, knowing how to write, how to read, and having the real form of education that we can demand our right, just like Dr. Joe is saying now. And we can come out, we are able. These people, they went out there, they made sure that they use their education in advancing their technology, and they went into the production of ammunitions. They trained their military. Do you understand? So they were able to come and use their imperialism to overcome us.
Okay.
So we should coordinate ourselves
Okay.
as in Africans should be well educated now, and we should form a forum. Do you understand? We should now be able to request or demand our rights, as in this and this, just like this lady that is a speaker from of a yellow sun.
Okay.
What's her name now? Chimamanda.
Chimamanda.
Sir, Shebi, you know Chimamanda?
Who's
Sir,
Chimamanda?
Chimamanda.
Yes,
Chimamanda.
Chimamanda. Yes,
Yes,
she's an author.
Well, yeah.
she's an
Oh,
author.
the
She's a
Chimamanda, the author?
yes, yes. You
Yes.
know, she's
Yeah, yeah.
facing France. I think even there is one sharp African lady that faced what's the name of this French president? And this question you were asking, they asked that how is it that Africa will still be playing deals
Okay.
to
You continue from there, but we have a new person joining us, Mr. Awolola Rotimi and
Oh,
Jim.
that's my guest.
you're
Yes.
Okay.
welcome.
That's my
Welcome
invitee.
to the panel.
Okay. Let's start from Mr.
Yeah,
Awolola
thank
because
you.
oh,
You're welcome, sir.
so based on what we've been discussing so far, what will be your own take on this? Is Africa really independent or not? And what can we do to really bring what is supposed to be the real state of independence to the African people and to the African continent?
Oh, okay. I don't know. Can I just listen first? Because I'm just
Yes.
joining. So let me just
Okay.
listen first. I just joined now,
Okay.
so maybe I will contribute later.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
Mr.
Now,
Jim.
Bless up.
the one
Bless up.
I'll be going to Jim now. Before I ask Jim this question, please kindly note that Jim is one of those that have been supporting what we do here
Hi,
in
Jim.
Africa. Yeah,
Hey,
he's the one. He's the one of those that has been supporting what we are doing here in Africa, and his love for Africa is great. So, me asking him some kind of question is to see the other side of the coin. So it should not be addressed uh, as if he's one of those that actually come that
That
actually
came.
came to Africa to enslave our forefathers or what have you. But we just need to see. It's always good when you have a story from two sides. It becomes more balanced. So the question I'm going to be asking you, Jim, would you say your country is independent, or are you people still dependent stylishly to a particular crown or throne?
yeah, are you asking, are we politically enthralled with some type of like a two-wing bird, left, right dialectic? Yeah, we're caught up in that. Yeah, for sure. 100%. And I think there's a need for a third party in America that changes the we've been going Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, and where have we gotten? I don't see any improvement. Now, I have never set foot in Africa, and I can't relate. I can't speak to what I don't know. I don't know anything about there. In other words, I don't know what the weather's like there. I don't know what the political scene is there. All I get is my feedback is from people like you. Now, when I give my opinion about something and about America, I want everybody to know what Dr. Ojo was bringing up. Last time we spoke, is he's been studying the financial system, and we've used a word like Ponzi scheme and stuff like this. It's so bad in America that the corruption is to the point where if we look around the world, we've seen closing down of our pipelines here. They shut down the Keystone. So energy, they're throwing I would like to hear somebody say this, but the climate change topic is really running politics here in America, and I think somebody else could jump in on that. Before I leave on that question, I really quickly want to say, since I have everybody's here, I bought a Rumble account for Cetros Foundation. It's called Cetros Spotlight. I've already put a test video up. It's my son graduating from UC Berkeley. A terrible camera work. So anybody can go to Rumble now, and so from now on, it's all monetized. I bought a business account, so now every video that's on the YouTube channel from Cetros Vlog can be migrated over to Rumble, and you'll be fully monetized now on that
Wow.
channel. So this is one of the things that you know, all the work and the content you have is sitting on YouTube doing nothing. It's not bringing in more customers. It's not, I mean, people wanting to watch your content. It's so obviously you're being shadow banned. So we have now a different platform to work with. We can live stream. We could do, and by the way, it has this beautiful built-in email system. So if you go to Cetro Spotlight, so you go to Rumble, rumble.com, go to the search button, the little magnifying glass, type in Cetros Spotlight, one word, and there's our new account, a new platform where we could not worried about being censored and not worried about being shadow banned anymore, and put that old content to work, because that old content is all your work that needs to be represented, and still has value. Just because it's older, no. I want to change out off the YouTube platform. We can start streaming there, guys. Thank you.
And
Oh,
Jim
thank
is a
you.
perfect
Hey,
example. Yes,
hey,
boy,
and plus Jim,
that's a
you know when you said you've
perfect
never been
example.
to, you said you've never been to Africa. Let me put a picture in your head for a minute. Have you ever been to an Hawaii beach, or have you ever seen an Hawaii beach? Picture that, and then a
Yes,
big and a,
I lived on the Big Island for 2.5 years.
yeah, but plus a big dragon that, I mean, that spits out fire every 20 seconds.
Well,
I'm
the,
just,
that is a beautiful. I can't wait to get home. I want to get back to Africa.
yes,
Jim,
indeed.
Jim, thank you so much. You know, even what you're doing, that's the example that we need in our Western counterpart. Those who are honest about the situation. And thank you for even using your resources to help. You understand? So that's the type. You're that example of being honest. Sometimes you don't know everything and you're able to learn, but when what you can do, you do. And that's what we hope. You know, we need our money back. Why are they charging us for being slaves? So thank you. This is a very stimulating conversation. I just want to say thank you, Jim, for that.
Thank you, Jim.
Bless up, bless up.
Uh, where's Mr. So if I want to
Okay.
react to,
Jim is at the background now. I'm going to add him because on this stream we can only bring in 6 person per time. So Jim can stay hang on. We have someone here. I want us to welcome her, Anna Greenfield.
You're welcome,
Hello,
man.
hello,
Thank
So,
you.
hello, Anna.
Hello, hello.
so Anna Greenfield, you have the floor. It's nice to be meeting with you. Can we just meet you, please? Which country are you chatting in from?
I'm calling from the United States, in California.
Wow.
You're
Shout
welcome,
out to
Wow.
man.
California.
Oh, thank you,
Okay.
thank
So
you.
what will you say straight up? What will you say about Africa? Would you consider any country in Africa as being independent or not?
No, I wouldn't consider any country in Africa independent at this time. I think a lot of progress towards independence have been made, but it's still a long, long way to go. And what I
Yes,
would like
indeed.
to ask, what would an independent Africa look like? What would be four cornerstone of an independent Africa? Because we
Hmm.
have to know what the goal is so we can strive for those goals to get to independence. It's just too much dependency, it's still too much colonization, too
Yep.
much outside control, and
Yes.
all the governments are basically sub government of other interests as the United States, France, Germany, the UK, etc., etc. So how do we get to independence? Is this just over time? Is it a strategy that we need to have? How do we get there?
Teach.
Okay, so I love the way you're stating it clearly that how do we now get there?
Yeah.
Now I want to based on the question raised by Anna Greenfield, I'm bringing out this question directly to you now, Mr. Amujale, because it's a different ball game. We all coming to speak big grammar. Whose mic is? I'm trying to see the person's mic that is bringing this sound. Okay, so is a different ball game. Just talking and talking is all about walking the talk. So, Mr. Amujale, I know that you are someone of good stand when it comes to historical facts and research and the likes. Now, from your own angle, what role do you think you as a person that is knowledgeable in terms of history and culture of the Africans, what role do you think you can play to ensure that the generations now, the younger generations and the generations to come can borrow from your wealth of experience to change their mindset, to give themselves what we call mental power to think ahead so that we can actually get the level of independence that is required for this continent to be where it truly belongs?
The thing is, for me, I have to say that we have everything. The thing is, like us, let's say, for example, Nigeria, like we have exports, stuff like that. So these are the things that these are the things that we should focus on. The people, as in us, the people, we should focus on these things, become experts in these things. Like, for instance, we shouldn't be involved in Western education at all. No, not at all. We should create our own institutions based on our exports, based on what we're selling out. So if we should be the experts in mining, we should be the best miners in the universe, basically. In terms of petrochemical capacity, endurance, these are things that we should have. We should be the best at these things so that we can tap what belongs to us. It's that simple. We shouldn't be interested in Western nothing.
Right.
Okay.
And you know what's a good point about that is on this side of the equation, we need Westerners who are experts in exporting to somehow get contacts with African foundations such as the Cetros, because they have the foot soldiers, right? So how do we get this product out, and make it available, right? That's a goal that's very difficult to accomplish. It's not as easy as it sounds, but if we had somebody who was an import export expert here in the States who was maybe of African descent, that would be a wonderful plus to this community. Somebody that could show us how to get a bunch of products shipped, at a cheaper price, things like that. Because I mean, if you have to ship everything off of a website, that means you guys gotta have to have stock on hand. That's the equation part where you have to have stock on hand. Do you see what I'm saying about that, Joe K? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
stock on hand.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, great concept. Now, the thing is, like as we were saying earlier, we have to use what we have to get what we need. It's
Okay.
simple, common sense logic.
Mr. Amujale, let me you are tending towards my question, and Jim is also tending towards my question. One of the reasons why we ventured into this angle on this channel is because we were tired of, we've seen so many people, they just talk, they bring people, they bring experts to come and talk about the challenges in Africa, and everybody talks, and that's the end of it. And also we see that even our home government, the same thing is happening. When they see the challenges on ground, they even use the little money that is available in Africa, that would have been used to solve the challenges, they use it to travel outside Africa into the domain of those that have put us in the situation that we are presently trying to get ourselves from. They use it to travel down there in five-star hotel and the likes, deliberate, as if those people are going to provide answer to their challenges. At the end of the day, nothing has been done. That is why we decided to embark on a journey in which we move from village to from one village to the other, to try to see how we can pick each of these youth, educate them to know who they are, what they can be, the challenges that is already in the past, present, and the one they should face ahead. So the reason why I'm asking you that question is this, that we are doing this, we are able to do that, to train these youth, buy them startup machine, empower them in the little that knowledge that they in their area of interest. Now, what I'm saying is that you now, as an historian, what role do you think you can use your historical knowledge to play in the life of these youth, to transform them from the region of, just like osmosis now, from the region of lower concentration in which they have been deceived by their forefathers, by the ruling clan or clown, the ruling clown. How do you now use your knowledge as an historian to affect the life of these youth? I don't want to be talking about adults, because the adults, they are already tired. The time has passed on them. They did not produce results. So I should not expect results from them because their time is already off. The youth that are coming in, what aspects of your historical knowledge, references, experience that you feel you can now play to transform their life so that they can achieve what you might not even be have been able to achieve if you have to do it alone?
This is what I'm saying. We need to train ourselves in productive skills. We have to have productive skills, and the productive skills I'm talking about are the skills that are our bread and butter, the ones that are the entire country depends upon. These are the things that we need to be trained on. So we're not interested in whatever system of education anyone else is doing, because that's benefiting them. We're interested in the system that is going to benefit us. That's what we're interested in. That's what we should be interested in. The thing is, like I said, basically, forget about all any outside system of education. Create our own system of education based on our wants and our needs. Now, what do we want? We need to be trained in skills that pertain to mining, petrochemical, ingenuity,
resources.
And these, anything that we're selling out as an export, we should be the experts in those fields. It's that simple.
Yeah, but you have a lot of, you got a lot of catching up to do.
We don't need.
But you have a lot of catching up. No, we don't. Yes, you do. Yeah,
no, we do not.
Say, okay. Let me hear your reason why.
Right. Well, you don't need to hear my reason now. You just need to agree with me, because why?
Okay.
You just said yourself you know nothing about Africa. So
no, I don't. But
African.
I do know what China's doing. I do know what China's doing.
Jim, what I want you to understand is this: there's one thing. The only true narrative regarding our history are the ones determined by our historians, scholars, educators, and academics. By default, all other narratives are false and invalid.
Yeah, as a historian, you should know this. They completely erased all your history.
You say you don't know anything about Africa, and you're arguing with me about our history.
I'm saying you have a lot of catch up. I'm saying you have a lot of catch up work.
We do not.
Okay,
We do not. All we
why?
need
Why?
is
Okay,
Why?
because
Why
okay,
do you not have
because
catch-up work?
let me answer the question. All we need is for y'all to get out of our space. Simple. We don't need interference. That's it. Once you
Well,
leave, trust me, I
yes,
could
I
hello.
bet
agree
you.
with that.
I
Yes,
can
I
bet.
agree.
I'll bet you $10,000
No,
right
you're
now
right. No, I
that
agree.
it, right.
Yeah, I agree with that fact. All I'm saying is mechanics, manufacturing, and the raw sources of those minerals are actually going to build your infrastructure, and that part is lacking. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's not. It's not.
Well, how?
That's the point I'm trying to make you
Who
because
owns those?
we
Okay,
have people
let me come in
we have
here.
people
Let me come in here.
engineers, we have people that can do this stuff. I mean, it's still
The
Amujale
problem is
and
political. The problem is political.
Amujale and Jean, I've muted both of you because I want you to listen to each other. Are you with me? But while I will unmute you, but I need to clarify something. And I know Madam Anna Greenfield, I'm going to give her time to say something because I know that she's loaded. Now, I am a graduate of economic statistics. And I know that there is no country in this world that can practice 100% autarky. That is, you cannot exist in
Alone.
alone. Nobody exists in silos. So I will want you, Amujale, to also borrow from the little world of experience that I have in economics to understand this fact that we cannot actually say that we don't need each other. We need each other, but there is a degree to which we needed each other, and there is a time frame. There is a time frame allotted to that. That is why we should borrow from within the system of education. What's happening? Why am I hearing myself? That's why we should borrow from within the system of education that we suit the African continent, just like Dubai did. What they did in Dubai, they brought in the best of brains across the world to come and develop Dubai, not to take over Dubai, but to help develop and go back, develop and go back. So once we have the mindset, and let me tell you, Jim is someone that believes that the Western should leave Africa. That the Western should leave Africa alone, let Africa experience peace. So what we need is that the education that Jim is talking about here, maybe in the area of mechanics or what have you, area that we needed more exposure. Such areas we can bring in experts that can do better. Am
Yeah,
I clear?
is that meddling? Is that
So
what he's saying?
when they are done with educating us in the area that we need, they can return
That's
back to
what
their
Singapore.
country. That's the same thing that
That's what Amajale, that's what Singapore did. Have you read about Singapore? Singapore made sure that they invited foreign direct uh, multinational companies that invested in their economy, and they made sure that these multinational companies they trained their indigenes on this technology, latest technology. They said what they wanted in return was that their indigenes should be updated in knowledge to be able to do what these foreign countries were doing. And that's what they did. So when their indigenes were educated, they now started taking over the control and they created employment for their citizens.
okay, with that being said, I don't want the fire to go down. I want Madam Anna Greenfield, your contribution on this, please. You have the floor.
Okay, what do we need to know educationally? What is it that we need to know that we don't know now in order to get an independent Africa? Is there something that we don't know now that we need to go and learn, or we need to develop a strategy to learn now because we don't know it yet after these, like you said, 5 million years? Is there something that's lacking, that's missing,
Yes, we
that
have one.
we don't know?
Okay, let
Or
me
is it
quickly.
political
Mm.
control and the minimization of the people, that the people on the continent is less than others and is not as valued, and our leaders keep making deals that cut the people out and doesn't offer enough for Africa? Is it that, or is it lack of education?
Okay, let me quickly state this, that when I mention the word education, that the education we need, I'm not talking of the
Formal education.
useless formal education that we are carrying about. That one is just robotic. They are only training people on how to communicate so that they can relate with us and exploit us more. The education, the way I define education, is the transfer of knowledge that leads to change in character. The transfer of knowledge, that and that knowledge must be
Right.
dominant in that society to lead to change in character. Now, until character change exists, there is no learning. Now, what I'm trying to say here, the kind of education is, oh, okay, we want to build
Refineries.
a
We don't
refinery. For
have
example, Nigeria
petroleum.
Nigeria is exploiting Nigeria is into oil. We are exploring oil in this country, yet we don't have a single
Refinery.
refinery that refines this crude oil.
So they send it abroad and
So
bring
they
it
now
Yeah.
back
take it out
to
of
Singapore.
Nigeria as a raw, useless, cheap product and bring it back as
No,
a finished
it's
product,
very expensive.
very expensive. So if there is any little twig in the economic affair in other countries, just like what we have in Russia now, the change affects the price change, the inflationary trend affects Nigeria easily on that base. So what I'm now trying to say, the kind of education that we need is to say, oh, okay, in this aspect, we don't just want to bring in people to just come and build refinery for us. And when next there is need to build more refineries, we are now still going to be looking for how to build one. What we need is experts in refinery come over to our country,
Train our
train
youth.
our engineers that are in the university, train our youth. Even when we have experts, African experts that are outside the country that have built one or two refineries
Should
before,
come.
come into
Right.
Africa, come and teach our youth, because our adults is like money. Money has blocked their brain. They are not thinking. Money has blocked
Amujale
their
was
brain. I'm coming. Money has blocked their brain. All they just want to do is to continue
to
to
sell.
sell crude oil,
I
import.
disagree. I respectfully disagree. Because as long as we are looking to learn something from someone else, we're caught in a trap. We need innovation and development and research on the continent that's going to develop the minds of our people to build a refinery from scratch. We need to know how to
Yes.
Yes.
develop prototypes. We need to start from scratch. We don't need to go anywhere to learn anything from anyone. As long as we keep doing that, we're going to be holding to them. They're going to feel like they're educating us, and we're forever dependent on them. We need underground, raw
Exactly.
development from the ground up. We
Okay. I
are the
love.
creators. We are the innovators. We are bringing new technology. We are
New
building
technology.
refinery from starting, trying with a small little one and expanding on that. And I know right there in Nigeria, the the expertise is there, the mindset is there, and the talent is there, because I see these little youths on YouTube that is developing all
Right.
kinds of cars and power plants, and they're doing it with generators and motorbike engines, and we just need to support those things, and so we can expand on that, because as long as we're learning something from somebody else, hey, we're caught in a trap.
Yeah,
Okay,
and knowledge is free.
Jim,
Knowledge is
Jim,
free.
Jim, a minute, please. Anna Greenfield, because we need to understand each other as she's saying this so that I don't forget. I agree with you to some extent, but let me ask you this question, which you don't need to answer. If I need to go 10 years to learn what somebody has been doing in the past 20 years, whereas I have the opportunity to keep developing my own and also leverage on the experience of someone that has already been doing it, so that these youths that are growing in cars, for example, like cars that you mentioned, you know, they are still going to be going through training process and the likes. While I'm still developing those youth in that aspect, it would I'm not going to lose anything if I'm bringing expert already made expert, and my transaction is I am paying you for this is what I want you to come and do. Then my youth that is already producing his or her own can also be brought in to understudy what you are doing, because he is already having a foundational knowledge in that aspect. So whatever you are going to be doing, he is going to be asking questions, question on question. That is research. It is the ability to question scope that is called research. Now, as more questions are being asked, more knowledge has been transferred, not to a lazy man, but to somebody that already has something in. That is how to pay for time. That is how to buy time. And that was exactly what Dubai did. Even China today, that is coming up as, let me tell you, China is almost the number one in the world
How
now.
did they learn? How did they learn? The first person that did it, how did
They
they do it?
no, madam,
Who taught them?
Madam Greenfield, your people taught them. America came to China to come and be producing, so they had something to understudy.
Yes.
They had something to understudy. So we Africans, we should not fall cheap to this. I know we have been hurting. I know that we have been pained that they've used us, they've utilized our openness. But let me tell you, the wisdom we should carry now is the wisdom of someone that is building with one hand and is also ready to pick ideas with the other hand. Now, what China did was, they have their mindset. This is what we want to do. The useless structural adjustment program that was introduced into Nigeria in the 80s, which crumbled this country, that was the same package that China used to develop. What they just did was to remodify their own, to say, okay, we are now going to use our native intelligence. We are developing as, but let us see what the Americans think that they know. The Americans are bringing their job to process in China, thinking that they are getting cheap labor, but the Chinese were understudying their phones, their car production, and they are
Yes.
now transferring it into their own.
Yes.
Now look at the telephone, China phones that before, when you on it, the sound is awkward, everything is stupid, But today, you can hold a China phone and hold an American phone. They are almost similar. Why? Because they have understudied the American that thought that is very intelligent and wants to keep others at bay. They've understudied them and they now improve on it. Now, if Africa
All right.
has to get out of this wood, we need to play on both sides. We are
I
developing.
agree we should play on both sides, but are we doing it? Or are we
That,
constantly waiting for somebody to come
that
through for
is
us?
that is the knowledge. That is the education
Amalute,
we
mute
are calling
yourself.
for now. That is the education. And education is not education until it is adjusted for re-education. We have
The
to
thing is that
re-educate ourselves.
the
Okay.
refineries, the refineries, the refineries It's not that Nigerians can build refineries. They're not allowed to. That's the point I'm trying to explain to you. They have
Not
the
allowed
knowledge is
by
there.
who?
They are not allowed to by what they signed prior to independence. They're just not allowed to. It's not that we can't build them. Of course we can build them. But the agreement is that they're not allowed to. They have to be refined elsewhere. That was the agreement.
That is
It's
And
the same
the
thing
the
that
agreement
it's the
needs
same
to
thing that
be
happened with Bonvita and Milo. The same thing until the agreement expired. Then we could start making Milo and Bonvita. But according to the agreement, that time they had to ship cocoa out of Nigeria, make the Bonvita and Milo, and sell it back to us.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
occurred.
so
okay.
So it's the
again,
same.
the problem
It's
is
the same
political.
deal with the oil.
Now,
And that
okay,
expand into
I
other areas
agree.
like cobalt and uranium and diamonds and gold. It's the same thing. It's
Right.
political.
Yeah, it just comes down to who owns the rights. That's what it comes down to. Dr.
No,
Ojo, can you tell us about that?
no, before
So
Dr. Ojo says something, Dr. Ojo, a minute, please, so that I don't forget. Let me tell you, some of these topics that we discuss about here, that's why you see me, I have passion when discussing it, because I have cried my heart out. I went to the north because I served in the north. I went to the north. Madam was talking about your uranium or minerals. I saw cobalt. I saw cobalt. I saw so many natural resources in the north that children were using it to stone themselves. They were playing with it. They never knew what is the meaning of what they were throwing at each other. I saw lead, I saw iron, I saw zinc, I saw a whole lot. They were playing with it. They don't know the meaning, don't know the value of it. What I'm using this to answer part of the question I was asking Mr. Mujale. When I saw that, I started crying because I just finished from the university to serve this country for 1 year. I started crying. I said, no, I can't wait. I can't just stomach this rubbish. These children do not know the meaning of what they are throwing. The same way they don't know the value. That's how Chinese people are coming to this country. They are
Yeah,
building their houses in the villages, taking this thing away, giving
that's
them
right.
peanuts. I saw them, they were digging the floor for these companies and they are being paid peanuts. Now, the way forward is not just for us to come here and speak big grammar here. The way forward for us is to re-educate.
Yes,
That I'm
yes.
saying here is not the four walls of the classroom discussion.
No,
Re-educate, show them this is how to do this so that you can get this. And that is why we set up a foundation. Our foundation is going from place to place. We are asking this youth, what is your area of interest? Okay, this is your area of interest. Where can you get trained that is closer to your house? We pay for the training so that they can get such training, so that as we are training them in that, we are also training them to know that there are some set of people that can utilize their knowledge as slave. So they should learn how to be independent, be a business owner. That's why when we see people like you that join us online like this, we try to see what you are doing. If what you are doing is something that you can pass as a knowledge to them, we link you up during our youth program, of which one of them is coming up on November 26th. You talk to this youth, train them in the areas of what you are doing. And that's the aspect I'm asking you of, because I will want you to come up during this youth program as an historian to probably look at the free African, the freedom of expression, the challenges Africa has gone through in the past and where they are now, and how these youth, as a barber, as a fashion designer, as a tailor, as a caterer, as an engineer, and the likes of them, how they can use those knowledge to set up a business, a real business establishment that can be historical in nature, to finance projects that will lead Nigeria out of the present wood. That's the area I'm just trying to push you to that aspect. That's why I'm asking you those questions, because your wealth of knowledge in history should come and tell this our youth what our forefathers did wrong by not thinking economically by handing over our economy into the hand of foreigners that
No, did it?
ended up ruling and ruling us till
No,
almost eternity until
our
now.
parents did well. Our parents did absolutely well. They're the best thing since sliced bread.
How about telling them what our ancestors did right? Like
That's what I'm
they were
saying.
the
That's what I'm
first ones
saying.
to
That
smelt iron. They were the first
exactly.
one to make glass. How they were the
Teach.
first one to stock bricks without concrete. How about telling them what our ancestors did right?
Yes.
And they
Yes.
can learn from what our ancestors
Yes.
did right instead of what they did
Yes.
wrong.
No, no,
Exactly.
no, no.
They
It's
did.
not only what they did. Sorry, it's not only what they did wrong. I'm just coming from one side. It's not only what they
They,
did wrong, what they did right, and what they did wrong. Those are the two things that you are going to in what's it called?
Inculcate
Into them. And when they listen to your story, they see you are outside the country already. They are so happy that, oh, despite the challenges, you have been able to achieve or to be where you are now. So there is hope for them, because we are going to the ghettos, we are going to the villages to go and pick these youth in their raw form. So they need models, not just association of talkers, online talkers, no doing.
So
You,
I don't think either of you are talking past each other on this subject. I mean, he's saying I'm sorry, ma'am, Anna, is it Anna? Is that
yeah.
Yes. She made a great point. She's like, what are they not teaching us? Well, she's right. They're not teaching you the ancestry because they don't want you to know it.
Okay, so such area you come in, there was a particular content we created one time that was talking about how the map of the world, how the African map has been distorted to look small as compared to other parts. I don't want to go into that, but I'm just saying these are the areas we needed you in. What's it called? Dr. Ojo, please get ready. The next time is for you now. But Madam Anna, please, what is your area of specialty?
I am in early education and human development. I'm not like an engineer or anything. I work with children and early childhood development. That's my
No,
area.
you're a child engineer. You're a
So
child engineer.
I'm a challenge. Well, I
so
have 7 children, so maybe I am a child engineer.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
wow, you know what? If it was to be a football match, you would have been given a golden boot.
Yes, I would be.
So now, with what you have just said, now, do you know how much? Just 15 minutes discussion, a good presentation from you on how these youths can have a meaningful lifestyle can do to them in their numerous areas of what's it called, craft that they are learning. So with that being said, I want Dr. Ojo to come in here. Dr.
Yeah, thank
Ojo.
you guys. It's been such an interesting time.
Okay.
So, the most evil done to Africa, which Africans themselves allowed, regardless of how we put it, they allowed it, is exchange of their language and culture for Western education, for religion that was brought, foreign religion that was brought to them, and
yes.
whatnot. That is the most the most evil that they have allowed to happen to them. All right,
Totally.
because when we are
Yes.
talking about this technical skill development, training, learning, whether we need to build on what we have or start from the scratch or go learning from somewhere or shadow somebody, there are various ways of learning, right? We can learn by listening, like, some of us are listening to all these intelligent contribution that we are sharing, learning by watching as well, learning by, trial and error, learning by, building what already exists or even starting from the scratch, from nothing, right? There are so many ways you can learn, right? But how do you learn when your language of communication is already lost, or you've traded it for another person's language? You already done yourself so much evil, because The best way to understand anything in depth is by your mother tongue.
Yes, yes.
There is it's highly intelligent and more spiritual than we can think, because you
Teach.
can just easily pick it up and explode it and expand it when it is in your mother tongue. So that's one mistake that our parents or whoever did that mistake did. Because remember the last time when we talked, I said you cannot copy everything from the West. Neither should the West copy everything from Africa. And they are smart. They are not copying everything. They're only taking the best. All right. So in the course of this research, I dig into something to say, okay, how do they view Africa from the West, from Europe, from Asia, and the rest of it, right? We can get to that one later, right? So what I'm trying to say is that exchange of our mother tongue, exchange of our culture, exchange of our belief system, things that work, things that are given to us from the origin by our maker, by the universe, exchange of
Teach.
it for immediate gratificational benefits is what is actually killing Africa. That is it. So now, if we want to get it right, especially for those that had early childhood development and the rest of it, we have to go back to where we got it wrong and start fixing it, which means we have to go back to those little kids that are getting born that have not been corrupted and now start putting the right stuff in their brain, in their own tongue. That's the only way they can get it right. Because if you want to go learn it from somewhere, you will stand the chance of being enslaved again. It's happened
Yes.
before.
If this was a bowling match, this is a
It's
series
happened
of
before.
strikes.
It's happened before.
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
you are
for
not
sure.
careful, you can fall the same trap again, especially when you have not even learned and read about what happened, how
Mm-hmm.
it happened, and how ask the right question. All right. If you want to say, okay, you want to start from the scratch, it's going to take you forever, and you're already behind anyway.
That's what I said.
Now, if you want to say you want to do trial by error, maybe it's even better, but you just have to be able to withstand and endure the pain and agony, because
It's
there's
an all
price
of
for
the above approach. All of the above.
there's price for everything. But the problem that I know, another problem that I know of African is we're not that patient. We are not that patient. We're not that patient to swallow our pride. We're not that patient to endure the pain, to go through the process. We're not that
Yeah,
patient. We want it quick, we want it fast, and we want it big. And
that's
that's those
human.
are those are
That's
the
human
traits.
nature.
Those are
It's
the
not. It's not
traits.
only African.
Those are the traits that the colonial masters saw that made them enslave our ancestors, our parents and grandparents, because they saw, oh, you want it quick, okay, I give you quick. But then the stuff you are signing at, the contract you are signing, you did not pay attention to it, and the consequence of it, once you have signed it, it's hard to go back, right? That's
Yeah,
kind of what somebody said the other time, right? So
yeah.
we definitely have to go back to the drawing board to actually get it right by a kind of qualitative education that is practical oriented, starting from those that have not been corrupted and giving
Teach.
it to them in their mother's tongue. In their mother's
Teach.
tongue.
Children learn
In their
best by
mother's
doing.
tongue.
Children learn best by doing.
Less
By
best by
Yeah,
doing, right?
yes. And there are different types of learning. Learn by hearing, learn by seeing, but the best form of learning is by doing.
By doing,
So
right?
we have to show them how to do it.
So
Let them figure out how to do it. Challenge
so
them to do it. And that's their
so
best way for learning. But if we take all of the above approach, not that we're not going to still bring engineer in to work on the refinery or to show us what to do. We have a brother in Zimbabwe that developed a TV that worked just without electricity, without being connected to the Wi-Fi or the signal system. It was just a whole different technology that they have never seen before, that
Kind of,
was never
kind of like
explored before.
Bluetooth. Yeah, it's like where you can get energy from the outside atmosphere, I know what you're saying. This is actually true, folks. There's energy out there that the governments, especially of America, have what they call shelved, and they don't want this technology out there because they want to piggy bank off of sources and minerals and everything, and just utilize that to the end depth where they don't want to give up their power. They don't want to give it up.
You know, is that what Tesla was using
So
Well,
when he
so
did it? When he did his tower,
but Tesla was
Jim.
subsidized by taxpayers.
Yeah, but what I'm saying was that what he used when he built that tower?
Oh, that Tesla. I'm sorry. Yes, Tesla. Oh, yes,
Right.
Nikola was
Yeah.
right on. And by the way, when he died, they took all his notes and records out of his hotel room, and he was completely wiped away, and everybody knows it.
Wow.
so
Amazing.
the question that Mr. Setro asked earlier on, I didn't really get a concrete answer from us, right? He
Okay.
asked that what are we doing or what can we do to contribute to this education that we're talking about of Africa, not just education in the classroom and learning English and stuff like that, like the education that matter, right? So for me, it's the reason why I'm here, right? Because you have to be willing and be ready to give back. If you are not just going to be in the group of people that just do the talking, we have to be ready and be willing to give back. Giving back in kinds and cash. Giving back our knowledge, right? Giving back the intelligence that we have. Giving back our experience, right? A lot of African youth and children does not even know their own history. They don't even know. They just know that I'm born in Nigeria, and that's all they know.
That's
Nothing
it.
else.
That's right.
That is wrong. That's what we are doing
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah. They have no world. They have no worldview.
Yes, because and why is that? That's because of these foreign ideologies. That's why. That's why.
So
True, true.
that is not the fault of the foreign ideology. That is you and
It
I.
is because it takes them away from reality. They live in a alternate universe.
That is what I'm saying now. It's if we by the time we start looking at it, it's somebody's fault. That's we not taking responsibility. It's going to remain a problem forever. As is you and I's fault, because if I have kids under me or I come across kids, I'm influencing them one way or the other, right? Just a word can make a difference in the life of a child, right?
Yes,
Even those
yes,
that are not ours. How many
yes,
parents, how many African parents are even proud to teach their children their mother tongue and their culture and tell them the
Exactly.
story of
Exactly. These
where
these
they
are
came?
what should be used to teach us in the classroom. Every subject should be in our lingua. It's common sense. It's just simple common sense logic.
But there's nothing like common sense. I don't believe that, because if it's common
Common
sense,
sense isn't common anymore.
it should be common to everybody. There's nothing like
That's
common
what I'm
sense
saying.
now.
Common sense isn't common anymore.
So it's not the common sense. Just call it sense. Let's just call it sense. It's not
yeah,
common.
Yes,
So
yeah. No
that's
comment
right.
in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
where I'm getting at, fellows, is that we personally, individually, has to take that responsibility. If we say the education system has been corrupted, has been westernized, and the rest of it, I have a responsibility on my own to sit down with my kids and teach them. It's as simple as that. Because the more I keep pointing at the education system and the government, guess what? It doesn't solve the problem. But I can sit my younger ones down, my offspring down, and be like, this is my language. This is how you say this. This is what this means. This is what
That's
we
right.
went through. This is what our parents taught us. This is what having value, having live principle. This is what it means.
Yes, but it will mean even much more
In my
if the government actually reinforces it by using it as the language of education.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter now.
yeah.
The
That's the
difference,
part I don't understand.
it
I have
doesn't
never
matter
been
now.
able to figure that out. I just don't understand that part.
Yeah,
Why is that?
that's the symptoms of colonization.
So that
Hello.
doesn't really matter now, because if the colonization happened and it's still happening, it's
Yeah,
you
that's what
and
I'm saying.
I stop
All
it.
those are symptoms of. So when we want to achieve being a sovereignty, these the things that you're saying are the things that we have to conquer. The things like these that we have to make sure that when we're educated, when we're doing anything that we're doing, just like Dr. Clark said, he said if you're partaking in something and it's not being beneficial to you, you've got to discard it and throw it in the bin. Simple as that.
You know what I just looked at is the fact that all Africans, whether home or abroad, we all need to be re-educated. We all need to be re-educated in terms of disabusing our mind from waiting for someone else to do what we
That's
are
it.
supposed to do. The government to me doesn't exist because
In
I
Yep.
grew
Nigeria.
I
Yep.
I grew
Yep.
up in a country where I have to dig a borehole for me to get water to take my bath. I have to, in short, sometimes I need to contribute money so that the road on which I pass through can be motorable or can be trekkable. I have to buy my solar, fix my solar. If I actually want to have a consistent, what's it called, live stream like this without power interruption, I have to, for me to work, maybe my wife as a fashion designer or myself as a photographer, I had to provide my own fuel, my own generating set so that I can power. And maybe you guys, you are all across in other countries of the world where the government is taking from you and they are providing some of these things for you. But here, I've been trained as a lion that needs to go and get the food to eat. So I don't want to depend on. In short, I'm so sorry to say this, but it's truth. I don't like people saying the government. Please always delete that word government. There is
There's
no
no government
government
in Africa.
anywhere in Africa. What we have is rulers. So
Corporations.
you have, so we should throw away that. We should be. Let me just show you a little bit. Last week I embarked on a journey. I embarked on the journey to some villages to
Dale, can you
see.
pause for 1 second? Just go ahead and get your video ready. Folks, Dale put the link up for the Rumble. Did everybody see that in the live chat? There's that one right there. So you see that folks? Uh, I was really hoping Dale was gonna make a video and premiere a new video on Rumble. I'm so excited. Dr. Ojo, you guys are going to love this new account. You guys are going to love it. We can migrate all our videos over and be monetized immediately. So that means all the content that if Dale is putting out fresh content and doing this, he's showing a mission statement in those videos. And this is what changes people's minds.
Okay, thank you for that, Gene. I would have even been able to edit one or two videos to upload to that channel, but the reason why that immediately I came back, because of my exposure to mosquitoes in the village, I've been treating malaria when I since I got back. Okay, my wife is even reminding me that I've not taken my dose now. So with okay, Madam Anna, you are muted. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Unmute yourself.
Your mic. Unmute yourself. Can you start? We can't hear you. Your mic. Yes.
Yes.
Whoa.
Mhm.
What's happening to your mic?
I think she
Maybe
has to log in again. Yeah, I think
yes,
she
yeah,
just
exactly.
yeah.
You
Log
have to
in again.
go out and come back in.
Please. Okay. Um. Okay. And I believe she wanted to say something very this, and I hope she links back. Now, so for example, Okay, that's why I couldn't upload. I couldn't edit and upload some videos. But this week you are going to see a little bit of this video. I saw some youth. These youth are trying. They are putting all their best, all the best that they know they can do. Uh, I met with a youth that built his shop with carton. He built his shop using carton. Okay, maybe I should
Wow.
just pause. Let me read through this. Claudia Emmanuel says, Emperor Haile Selassie, founder of OAU, brought all the African countries together to fight for Africa through independence. When I saw this, I think Game Me mentioned this. Madam Claudia is mentioning this. When it comes to Emperor Haile Selassie, I don't want to join in to this conversation today because I want to dedicate a day in which we are really going to look through this outstanding African leader. Haile Selassie is not somebody you just talk, you just chat a few seconds about. Is someone that we need to sit
The,
down and go
the,
through his
the
story.
Lion of Judah.
You understand? Someone that we really need to come from beginning to end, if possible, to really talk about his lifestyle, what he did and what he did not do, and the likes. So that because these are, you can't compare someone like this to what we have, the mushrooms we have as are masquerading themselves as leaders,
Rulers.
rulers now, because
Exactly.
we don't have leaders in Africa, as far as I'm concerned. What we have is stooge. So, so, so I'm so happy. And Madam Claudia and Game Amp Me, I want you to please get ready because you are tempting me. Maybe next week we might need to talk about this, or a week after this, because somebody like this, his contribution, and that's one thing. Whatever we are doing now is going to be historical tomorrow. So the question is not about, because during the period of Haile Selassie, I know some persons will be there. They are talking about what is not available, but is we are not talking about Haile Selassie today because he's talking about what is not available, but he's talking about, we are talking about him today because he did something. So we should do something in this our generation. Okay, Madam Anna, we are actually using style to wait for you. You have the floor.
Yes. Yes, I was saying we should expand the borehole to a community borehole. And now we're running pipelines and we're supplying water to the community and we're expanding the solar panels to a community solar panels. And now we're supplying
Yes.
power to our neighbors and we're not waiting for the government. We
Yes.
did
Yes,
that
it
in
is.
Jamaica. We built whole cities where we started with
Bless
just
up.
a track road. My mama used to break stones to put on the road. And now what we have
Yes.
mansions
Wow.
and paved roads and shops and storefronts. And that was all done over time by the community. So we don't always have to wait for the government to come in
Yeah.
and development. We can do it if you, as one individual, can afford, or we can come together as a community, or we can come together as fundraisers and start with, say, okay, by the end of the year, we're going to have 5 homes with solar system. By the end of next year, we hope to have 50 homes, and we can
Yeah.
expand like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, in America right now, there's a campaign to tell people that solar is not feasible and they're going to be in the trash soon, and they're going to be, they're going to be material that's taking up a carbon footprint because they have to be made. Oh, guess who's making them? China. Think about this, folks. Think about this.
Hmm. Okay. You know what? I'm trying to check out for a particular video. Let me just show you a little bit. Just like Madam Anna, just like Anna said now, in this particular village that I traveled to, you won't believe, under few minutes that I just look at the road.
Wow.
Look at the road.
Wow. I mean, that's not a road. Okay, that's a river.
Amazing.
Look at the road.
I mean,
So
you can't walk in that. You can't even ride a bike. I mean, what are you gonna do?
I was, funny enough, I
Amazing.
had to, because I don't have a car, I had to be on a bike on that road. I had to I had to be on a bike on that road, and it was it
This is
was
But
one.
what colonization does.
No.
Look at
I
this
mean,
youth. One of the youth I met in the village. This youth is so industrious. What
yeah.
like a community center. I sat on what they had there as their chair, what have you. So I was just, it was a very funny story. I was just hearing some sound. I was now looking, where is this sound coming from? I never knew it was what I sat on that was crash landing. All I saw was I fell on my finger. The seat was broken, so I just laughed. Something just told me, you know what that is telling you? It's telling you that before you leave this community, you need to build them a four-seater seat around the tree. So I was just laughing.
And tó bá
So
ṣiṣẹ́ kò ní
immediately
gbẹ̀rẹ̀.
I saw
Uh,
that, I called this guy. I wanted it to be an African touch of a thing. So we got into the bush. You'll be seeing a comprehensive video on this. We got into the bush. We got this what's the name of bamboo tree. We used that bamboo tree to construct a very nice, what's it called? Four-seater seat for the people in that place. I'll try to see that video if it's possible. So I tell you, so when we made that, and do you know how much it cost? Because
no, tell me.
um when I said this is what I wanted to do, a volunteer just rose his hand up that he will support
Yeah.
me, that he has been thinking about it. I said, no, I
Wow.
don't. I said, I appreciate what you want to do, because the man is a carpenter. I said, I appreciate what you want to do, but this is what my mind told me. And I don't give, because whatever I'm doing, I believe I'm doing it for God. That I don't give what does not cost me. So
Right. You just
I'm
take
going,
what you need and you give back the rest.
how much are you going to collect? I tell you, I didn't spend up to $5. So
Nice.
I didn't spend up. How much is a dollar? Yes, I didn't spend.
700.
I didn't spend. Okay, 700, isn't it? I didn't spend up to $5. So I paid the man to construct that, and how I wish I can just see the video. It's, see, to do good. To do good is not expensive.
Yeah, and this video
To
is going to
do
get
good,
monetized, and this video is going to get monetized on Rumble, folks. When this
to do
video
good.
comes out, it's going to be monetized.
I'm trying to see. You know, this was when we were fetching, when we were fetching the bamboo tree. It was as in, I don't know why some people are
Wow.
not doing well in Africa. Things are supposed to be the easiest in Africa, and that's why I agree with Madam Anna. You don't even need foreign influence, if not that we want to tap in on the faster technology to assist our homegrown technology. You know, when we you will see the finishing of that seat. You know, it's like a three seater in four places. So the tree is at the middle with the shade, so people can sit down there. You can have like 12, 16 people sit down there and chat
Wow.
and enjoy themselves and the likes. So
Nice.
what are we saying? It's not just about talking. It's not about talking. There is also another video. I got to the community. They were having challenge on. They were fighting. You know, a woman came out. I was like, there is no. They are dumping refuse into the water, into the well, and that well is the well they drink from when there is no
What?
electricity. When there is no electricity to pump their what's it called, to pump their borehole. So I said, what? Can I see the place? I got there, I saw how they dropped some dirty things into the water. So the woman was annoyed that there was, because there was no cover on that well, and little children might fall into it. I just laughed. I said, how much will it cost? When I heard how much they said it will cost to cover the well, I wanted to laugh, but because I know I'm in a village, before they will mistake it that I'm just making a fool of them. So I said, you know what? Talk to this guy that tomorrow we are fixing this. They were like, as if it's a big deal. When I calculated, it was less than $10 to fix the
It's
cover.
amazing. It's amazing.
Immediately. And this is what this foundation represents. I
Yep.
just told them that, you know what, that's why we're in this village. Our foundation is seeing how we can resolve all this, so it's not a challenge. And we, as a foundation, we will monitor you people, because we are not sponsored by government. It's just me and my friends that we contribute money on monthly basis to see how we can help this youth. So we want this youth to be responsible. Monitor the youth that are dumping refuse around this well, so that this place is always clean. If you catch anybody doing that, the whole community should catch that youth, make the parent pay a fine, so the parent will be. So they were all happy. The following day, they did the costing. Lo and behold, the price they even gave me before was
Yeah.
even the price at which they now finally made it was even lesser than the price they gave me before, and everybody was happy.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
See what I mean? It's like
and everybody
insane.
was happy. Now in the village, they are like, Citrus Foundation, Citrus Foundation. How much did we spend in that village? How much?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the challenge was how to get to the village. I spent 2 days to get to that village. You won't believe.
Huh?
I spent
And got malaria.
because I know it's a good malaria, because the life of those people is
Yeah.
is now transformed. They can now cover their well, because it's not that we are digging new well, it's just to cover the well that is already in existence, and to remove the dirt from the well.
Great work.
When you and we put a padlock there, they came back to me with a change. I said, you know what, go and buy padlock, fix the padlock there, let it be under lock and key. So if you get to that village now, they now know what is called Citrus Foundation, and everything we spent there is not up to $100. So what I now told them, I said, we are going to be monitoring you. If you maintain this well very well, if you maintain this well very well, we might come back to dig a borehole at another center where you people are going far, because I also saw the stream that they go to fetch water. They are urinating into that stream. They are drinking from the same stream. That is typhoid. So it's just so interesting. Now, do we now say that we should be waiting for the government? That's where all this story comes in. If you are waiting for the government, even heaven will look at you and say, this guy is a donkey. I think the next life I should change him to a donkey, because the government doesn't know that. The government doesn't know that that village exists.
Exactly.
The government is too far. It is people like you and I that can make the difference, and to make the difference doesn't cost much. So we want to use this opportunity to appreciate all of you guys, everyone on this channel, Dr. Ojo, Madam Nubimi, Madam Claudia, all of you that make sure that because even this place that you are seeing, this is Citrus Foundation of last for some weeks now, we were trying to renew the rent, because this particular space is used in training our youth in numerous crafts. You guys ran helter skelter to make sure that we were able to pay the rent, and from contributions here and there. Dr. Ojo is as if he wasn't able to sleep well. Every now and then he chats me, how far has the money been completed? Have this been done? Okay, take this extra. take this. So
And
Madam,
that's all gonna be over, folks, on Rumble. I'm telling you
CCC,
right now. You guys
so
gonna make your rent every year
and
off
see
of
that I
Rumble.
don't want to petition. So it is just so interesting to see that we have this mindset. But let me tell you this: if we have all this mindset, if we have a physical location like this that is beautiful, that once we bring those youth into this space and they see this place, they see the space, and we are training them, they feel so happy that wow. So a foundation that is not my family member can actually train me for free, and at the end of the day they see that their life is being turned around. You know what it does for them? It gives them the confidence. Then when it comes to our annual youth conference, they are now seeing people like Dr. Ojo, Madam Newbimi from what's it called, from America. They are seeing Jean, they are seeing all of you guys talking to them. They are seeing Amujale, they are seeing Madam, what's it called? Madam Anna. They are seeing you guys talking to them. Madam Anna, I want to believe she's from Jamaica. You're talking to them and you are making them see, oh, this is the way you should live your life because this is what I passed through before I got here. And, you know, that is what is called education. Education is not you coming in to tell me that because you want to steal
Right.
my mineral resources, you are now teaching me your language, your own you are the one coming to steal my mineral.
Exactly.
You are supposed
Yep.
to come and learn my language so that you will know how to steal it in my language. No, you will now come to come and teach me your language, the language of a thief, so
You
that
get
you
me?
cannot steal from me, so that even
Yep.
when you're now writing the agreement in your language, I don't know the
You know,
meaning, implication of your grammatical structure, because
exactly. Oh,
now,
oh.
Jim,
That was
Colleague, bro.
that was
Colleague, bro.
that was how the whole world started trading in US dollar
that
languages.
is, Jim, you see that
Yep.
now? Did
Oh
you see
no,
that?
no, as soon as Nixon took us off
Language.
the gold standard, guess what Nixon did? He sent Henry Kissinger over to China because
So,
they know they don't have the gold to back up what they have.
so Jim, ní nǹkan tí mo Jim, tan kámẹ́rà ẹ̀ padà kó gbọ́ nǹkan tí mo sọ.
What did you say? I couldn't hear that. What? What was that? That's some tongue on you now. Come on.
You see, no, so see, Jim,
Oh.
what just happened now is exactly what I said in my language you just did. And this is what, funny enough, your forefathers, this is what they are supposed to have done to my forefathers. They would have learnt my forefathers' language so that they can steal from us, using
Yeah.
our language, because I just said it in Yoruba, in African language, that Jim, put on the camera, and you put on the camera because you wanted to
Oh.
listen to me.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
So
What? And it just triggered me too. It was like, what was that?
so that is to tell you that it's very easy. It's very easy. If you are coming to steal, just identify that you are a thief,
Yes.
but I
Yeah.
want to learn your
And this is what Amuluje, this is what's interesting is that I'm thankful that I had a Liberian stepfather because I can listen to you folks clearly, like with no, like a lot of Westerners cannot listen in on a conversation like this where it's a flowing situation because the language, right? And now you're taking a dialect of English and now it's got, well, basically colonialized, I mean, in a sense. But I mean, how many people can like quickly pick up your tongue, your accent? It's very difficult for these people, who never pay attention, by the way. They do not pay attention. I have to charge my battery. Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my battery. Okay,
Okay.
bye.
Okay, based on what Jim have just said now, can you now see what Dr. Ojo is saying? Because that is what is now making the Western education to be difficult for our people.
Yes.
Education is the easiest thing in life because education is just what is a process that leads to what change of character. and you can be educated in numerous ways. But when I now have to drop my mother tongue and now begin to first of all spend the next 4 years of my life to learn your alphabet, to now use your alphabet to be forming words and rhymes, please, I think
Yeah,
there is a better.
And then to even make it worse, after you've colonized, you say you set us free, and then we are speaking your language, we drop ours. We are using your curriculum, we drop
yes,
ours. We are living your
yes.
lifestyle and culture, we drop ours. And then I
So,
I now travel to your country, and I cannot even get a job with what you gave to me.
Oh
oh,
yeah, yeah, oh yeah. And by the way, that's
Is
an
that not
interesting
stupid?
point. No,
Is
that's an
that not
interesting
stupid?
point. No, it's very interesting because when Sam Taylor was my stepfather, when he came here, guess what? He got hired as a janitor at a Radisson hotel. He worked his butt off all day long. He worked 2 shifts at this and guess what? The Radisson Hotel Company had a little bit of a financial problem, and they laid people off. And he immediately went into depression. He just immediately, he felt like, I came to this country. He's got a journalism degree. He's a college educated man. He was a radio announcer in Liberia, Monrovia. He was always like involved with his culture and his people. And when we used to sit there on the basketball hoop and shoot hoops, he would tell me these things. He's like, Jim, you don't understand. This is really that's how influential people can be about you come to America, you think you're going to get a better shake at the stick? It's not
no, not
true.
at all. Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, I mean, most people will be in the shock of their lives, really.
The funniest stuff is this. If there is anything we need to take home from this, is the fact that the whole of the continent of Africa, none, none of the countries there are actually independent. But the independence we are carrying about and we are celebrating every year is a mirage, is a facade, is a
Yes.
facade, is a make believe. But the point whereby we've come to a junction of our life that we actually really need independence and we are going to get that independence is when we begin to have mental independence. It is that mental independence that will affect the way we do our things. It is that mental independence that will change the way we assume position in our community. Is that mental independence that will change the way we even train our children, because I see lots of African parents now forcing and beating their children to be able to speak, they
Speak,
call it Queen's
get,
English. Queens. Bẹ́ẹ̀ kẹ̀rí
oh,
àwọn ọmọ yìí gbọ́ nǹkan tá à ń sọ. The meaning of what I just said is
mhm.
that these children do not really understand their own mother tongue. They can't even express themselves in their own mother tongue.
That one's
And that
vernacular.
you now begin to call my own mother tongue vernacular. When I'm even speaking that language, there is a way God answers my prayer in that language.
Yes, so, indeed.
Because when I'm using English to speak my language, it's like God is like, okay, I can understand you, but you are not natural. This is not how I created you. So spend more time to pray. But when I speak my own language, just say, Angel Gabriel, release that thing. This boy has spoken the language I created their generations with. So you are even causing spiritual problems. So with that being said, I think we should just sit back and begin to rewrite history, making sure that things are done the right way, making sure that we are now beginning to think independently, because whenever you allow external factors to dictate how you lead your life, you are not being true to yourself, and that is living a life of falsehood. So with that being said, I want to appreciate every one of us that has joined us in the conversation today. It's so beautiful to have Madam Anna Greenfield, Jim Barak, Awolola,
We could
Mr.
not hear from
My goodness,
Mr.
Mr. Awolola. Mr. Awolola has just been listening to us.
Oh, yeah, yes.
We want to
Bless
listen
him.
to you.
He's
Mr.
a
Wolola,
wallflower. He's just a wallflower. He sits on the wall, looks really pretty.
It's my invite you, so you guys have to.
okay. So Mr.
Don't
Wolola,
go in. Don't go in on him.
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Wolola, you have the floor now because after your contribution, every other person will give us their wrapping up closing remark. So, Mr. Wolola, we want you to have the floor now.
Okay, so let me just quickly say one or two things. I've
Okay.
actually learned a lot this evening. Oh, okay. So let me start with number one. I think the problem Africa has generally, or Nigeria generally, is number one, we don't trust ourselves.
Hmm.
Trust issue. Take for instance, there was a time that um a car was built. I mean, we have a company in Nigeria that built a car. Then they just to empower this company, for example,
Yeah.
Inosimoto.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they built a car. It's a company in Nigeria that built a car. So they proposed to for all the whole Senate to use the car, but they did not agree
Mm,
with it. Why? Because
mhm,
they don't trust the infrastructure, they don't trust the development. So with this kind of thing, I think it will affect even the Nigerians that will have most of them after learning a lot of things. We have a lot of talent in Nigeria. So after learning a lot of things, all of them they still believe traveling out will be the best thing for them.
mm,
They still believe going outside the world because they don't value them in the country they are.
Hmm.
With everything they know, with everything they have, they don't value them. You see, somebody working is the government is the main issue in Nigeria, not to lie, or in Africa generally, is the government because they kill the talent. They don't have the platform. For example, now we have ASU. Students have been on strike for how many years? Their own children are outside there studying. But in
Teach.
Nigeria, I mean, they are outside there studying, and they are using Nigerian money to train them abroad. That does not happen abroad. They always find a way to at least support their indigene. I mean, support the citizen. That does not happen in Nigeria. Everybody have to find their way to take care of each other, to vent for each other. So I think those are the main issue we have in this country. And for example, you made a point the other time that you said you went to a place and you saw you saw some things and you were able to do it. Thank God they allow you to do it. There are so many places in let me use Lagos for example, some areas or Ogun State for example. There are so many roads that are bad,
mm,
and we have some big companies that even want to do the road, but the government will not allow them to do it. Why?
Yeah,
Because
there's
they
a
use it.
law. It's a law. There's a law. There's a law. It's an archaic law. It's an archaic law that says that if you want to renovate a federal road, that you have to
Okay,
get permission from the government.
okay. Why does it have to be like that? Because it's like I'm trying to like, okay, this is the road that is used for everybody. Is it don't I don't need government to help my community. I just feel
Mr.
so.
Mr. Wolola,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Wolola, please, I'm 100% enjoying you, but let me just quickly state this.
Okay.
Now, look at this. I'm not saying because some government people can be watching this live stream. I'm not
Okay.
saying
Okay.
this, but what about if this project that I just said I spend less than $1 and less than $10 on? If it were to be a government that put a seal on that, do you think that's how much they will tell us that they spent?
I'm very sure it will be more than a
You
million
can,
dollar.
you can be sure that this thing that I spend like $10, less than $10 on, if
Right.
it's
Yeah.
if it's
Because
government,
they gotta line everybody else's pockets first. Yeah.
they might just have to like say it's, oh, so sorry, to cover this well we spent
Yeah,
over 5,000 US dollars.
of course, of course.
Do
I
you
feel.
know why? Do you know why?
Okay, please
Because
go ahead, sir.
even the citizen around there, they are so stupid. They will come around and say that before you do this well, you pay omonile.
Hmm.
You will pay chiefs.
That's
The
another.
community chiefs will say they want to collect their own share.
That's true.
I so sometimes I don't like to just blame the government. I like to also see the kind of human being, the species of human being. It's like when God was creating the earth, it was time to create Nigerians, and like some of them were not just, they don't want to follow the normal pattern. It's like some of them said, God, just why not just allow Satan to infuse the brain of a goat?
Mm,
You know why? Because we went to a particular place to go and help, to go and support. And it
mm,
was a community that I grew up around there. Do you know that the area boys, they blocked me and
hmm.
they said I must pay them?
That happens a lot. Is
So
Yes.
these are, they said I must pay them. Do you know what I just said? I said, okay, I should pay you. I said,
Don't worry, we are not
I
doing
said,
again.
you know what? I did not collect money from federal government. It's people's sweat and my own sweat that we are contributing because we want to try to make a change. So don't worry, I'm not doing again. Let me be going. When I said that, they started begging me that I should come back, and I said, look at this. I'm doing you a favor. You are telling me to bribe you. Why should I bribe you to do you a favor, to do your youth a favor?
You
Madam
know,
Anna Field, you want to say something? Oh, your audio. Your
unmute
audio.
yourself.
Oh my
Y-
goodness.
Yeah,
And I
the
love it
mic,
when
the mic does that automatically sometimes. That's why.
oh my goodness. We can't hear you. Okay, so Mr. What? It's so painful we couldn't hear her. Mr.
Can you
Wolola,
log in again? You're gonna have to drop out and log in again.
Madam Anna Griffith, kindly re-log in again so that we can hear you. Okay, Awolola, please. You have the floor.
yeah. Oh, okay, okay. So apart from education, I think another thing is um majority or a lot of people after being educated, they are not still civilized. Or let me use the word civilized. So they went to school after the old school and everything. Take for instance, during election, um what you have been suffering for years,
Mm,
and you maybe you vote somebody in after they made a lot of promises to do this and do that. They did not do it for the past, maybe okay, they have 4 years to use. They did not do it for a period of 4 years or 3 years. So when the next election is coming, they give you 20,000 naira or 5,000 naira, and yet to still vote them.
mm,
So this is happening very well in the country. And even this coming election, if we have a like mind, like okay, you have some prospect, like oh, this person is coming to do good, like is it they are coming for to create a lot of platform for young youths, for youths to explore.
mm.
I
I'm listening. We are listening. Mr. Rotimi, are you there? I think there is network issue.
Yeah, bless him. It
Okay.
makes good points. It makes very critical good
So
points.
it's like you know what I think? It's like Mr. Rotimi was just sitting down, archiving his point, and just ready to dish it out to us back to back. So we are still waiting for you to join him back. Okay. I think we have Nubi Me here. Madam
Oh,
Nubi.
hey, new baby.
Hello, Nubi Me.
Greetings. I just wanted to listen in because I have the
Yeah,
I don't know, the internet problem. But thank you everyone for your contribution. But something I wanted to
bless him.
mention that the brother Ayuwala mentioned. Even here, again, it's about who's taking that money. I think recently there was some U.S. grant or funding or something to give away millions of dollars to someone who has a great plan for Kenya. So it's like, wait a minute, what's
Mm,
going on
true.
here? So I just
You
Mm.
wanted
get
to
me?
say things
Oh,
like
it's
that.
philanthropy at its best. Once again.
It's bribing at its worst, right? It's like
Yeah.
corruption at its worst. But things like
Yes.
that and everything that everyone said, it's on point. Like Sister Anna, it's all of the above, taking that knowledge and not taking that, uh, that cash, and who's that cash coming from? Because there's always these little agreements like one of the elders mentioned, these these, but you know what, obviously contracts can be broken, because look at Ukraine. I'm not saying anything, I'm gonna leave it right there, right? But why is it okay for some and not for others? So, you know what I'm saying? So it's a whole
Yes. Yeah.
social justice, global social justice. And I think the key is African and African diaspora working with each other. And there's been conversations about reparations, and should Africans also be part of the reparations, a-
Yes,
as well
indeed.
as the Western. And
Yes,
I think it's
definitely.
great. I think that's a good idea. But
Definitely.
Africa can give
Yes.
reparations in different ways, like
Yes.
education, location, opportunity. They don't have to give the cash, but the Westerners got to give the cash to all of us. Because I'm a Haitian person, and why we still paying France for doing what they did? I can't believe, they just,
Yeah.
they just do
Yeah.
what they do, you know. And again, thank you for mentioning, Sister Claudia, mentioning Haile Selassie. That's some history we need to know. We need to all know everything that our ancestors had done for good, because they don't want you
Yes.
to know. They don't even want people to understand that World War II started because of Ethiopia or Italy trying to annex Ethiopia. So if we really know this, then we will change the way
Yes.
we do it. And I'm not
Teach.
saying Ethiopia's been perfect, but what happened was His
Mm-hmm.
Majesty offered an opportunity, and it was the students of the West who came back with some strange doctrines. So we got to stop coming back with strange doctrines. Know our language, know our
Teach.
education, know our history. Take the good, throw out the bad. Teach
Right.
the Westerners, 'cause they're babies. They're babies, and
Ye-
we're ancient.
Yes,
Yep.
indeed.
Okay, so we letting these babies run things here. This is crazy,
Yeah.
madness.
And
But
they're in the
we believe in God.
universities. Yep. Yeah, but they're all in
Yes,
the
indeed.
universities of. I mean, you guys, you know this. If you live in America, they are pumping this stuff into the universities. This mentality where it's not working the way what if you believe in a nuclear family, let's say for example, um,
Mm.
the Western view is now anti-nuclear family. Can you believe
Well,
it?
the
Yeah.
That
Western view
Yeah.
has always been
Oh, it's always been
anti-nuclear family. Let's
anti-nuclear
get
family.
real. Let's get
Exactly.
real.
That's
oh
not
The
nothing
and
new.
West have always been
oh
anti-nuclear
and
family.
I
Now
was
they're
only
like,
just touching the
now it's
iceberg on that one.
exploding
Yeah, you're
within
right.
their families. Now it's
Mm.
exploding within their families. Okay, so that's what's happening. And so everything that we said, Setros Foundation, thank you. Other ones who will pop out in Ethiopia, Kenya, similar to Setros, people who are watching now in the future. Thank you so much, Jim, for the Rumble opportunity. And I feel honored to be part of this family. Thank you, Dr. Ojo. Thank you, Brother Jale. Thank you so much. I love reasoning with you.
Bless up, Queen. Bless up, Queen.
Wow, we really appreciate you not being
Thank
me.
you so
And we
very
are
much.
so glad for your contribution towards the rental for the foundation. We thank God we've been able to pay. We appreciate all of you, all of you, all of you,
Thank you too
everybody
very
that
much.
contributed for the rental of the training center. We are so, so, so glad we have you guys. So, and we look forward to 26th of November for our youth forum. A lot of them are coming to this space for that program, and I've already told those at that village, because their distance is much. They will have to join us from that village. Then we have those from Makoko River, what's it called, Makoko Slum. They will also, those ones will come here. We'll see how we'll get those ones here. Okay, so I want us to conclude now. Let's start from.
I'll jump in real quick and I'll leave. Okay.
Okay.
I want to say thank you. I'm so honored to be a part of this foundation and the genius of Dr. Ojo. And I don't want to blow smoke up your, you know what, but he makes sense. And uh, the historian, my friend, you bring real truth to the table, and it's absolutely enlightening. And I also want to thank the sister that I've just met today, Anna. Is it Anna or Anna? Uh, you brought so much
Thanks,
wisdom,
Jim.
and it gave me so much insight. And I just want to say, guys, I'm so thankful. Okay, to finish up, and my closing point. There's a phrase called red tape in America in accounting. That means when you get a little bit like a little bit behind on your businesses, and and there's what regulations, and it's called red tape. I think a lot of that kind of Western colonialism that has infiltrated, the politics of Africa. And I trust me, I'm an amateur at this. But what I'm saying is, they want confusion. They continually create confusion, and
Yeah.
with that, they create the chaos, and then they give a new order and basically turn people into what. Okay, that's me. I'm done for everybody. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Well, well,
Can
thank you
can you
so
guys
much.
hear me?
Yeah.
Because I'm not
See,
on the
Jim.
screen. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes, we
Anna.
can hear
Over.
you. We can hear
We
you.
can.
Okay. Most of the time I don't get the notification. So I'm happy that I got it today. And I just want to say Africa can be independent, and we have to start at the top. We have to get the government to add more value to the people, because the people are very valuable. The people are knowledgeable. The people have the
Yes.
skill. They have the know-how, and I truly believe they can do it. And kind of just that's all I want to say. And I would like to be a part of the foundation. I would like to make a contribution. So tell me how. My email is annam@live.com. And I was happy to be here. I learned a lot. And I
Okay.
just want to say bamboo is a great source of moving water from one place to the next. We done it in Jamaica in the rural areas. My
Whoa.
family was farmers.
Thanks, Queen. Thank
Education
you.
is
That's
learning to
great.
do
Great
for
information.
yourself, and the
Whoa.
people can learn to do for themselves.
Whoa.
Farming is a great way for the kids, young ones, to get rich. And Africa
Yes,
the world needs Africa. Africa don't need the world.
And you
that's
promised
right.
to go to subscribe to the new Rumble.
Yes,
Rumble.
yes, I promise to
And
go subscribe to the new Rumble.
and
Sister
guess
Anna,
what? And guess
you
what?
know
You're
the
going to get all your notifications, guaranteed.
Oh,
you know
really?
you know
I
you
hope
know
so.
you know the bell button on YouTube. Tap it twice the second time, so that
Oh,
it's like shaking. It looks like it looks like it's shaking or something. Then you'll
Uh-huh.
get all the notifications. You
Okay,
need to tap it twice.
I will
Maramana.
try it.
Maramana.
Yes.
Okay. What is trying to tell you on that notification bell, if you press it, it will bring out options that will say notify all the time. So you click on notify all the time.
All the
So
Okay.
time. Yes. Yes.
it will always be notified all the time we have our discussion. Then can you do us a favor? Can you what's it called? Uh, type your email address here so that we can reach you on how to be part of the foundation.
Okay, I will.
Yes. Okay. So I'll
Okay.
be waiting for that here. We are so glad having you here. So finally, we
Thank you
want
so very
Dr.
much.
Joe to give us his closing remark.
Yeah. So before my closing remark, I want to first say, for the case of Nigeria with the children, the tertiary institution staying at home for more than 6 months, and they couldn't find solution to that, and they are wasting their life and their time. I say shame on all the presidential aspirants, all of them. Shame on all of them, because
Yes.
that's supposed to be a test. That's supposed to be a problem they should be solving even before they even start campaigning. They didn't
Hmm.
do that,
Hmm.
or if they did it, we didn't see them doing it, or I don't think they did anything. So shame on all of them. Shame on people like the richest man in Africa, Aliko Dangote. Shame on people like Otedola. Shame on people like the Globacom guy. Shame on all of them for not solving that problem in a timely manner and wasted the life of those youths. Shame on all of them. They should be hearing it and they should be ashamed, because they're supposed to come together and form a team and solve that problem. If it was money problem, they should be able to solve it because they had the money. They have the
Yes.
money. Right, the millions and the billions of dollars that the politicians, the presidential aspirants are going to be blowing and wasting during the campaign period, they could have used it to solve that problem. And they wouldn't even need the money because the people will have voted for them easily without paying anything. So that's why I'm
That's
saying
right.
shame on all of them, because people need to start taking initiative. And we are on this educative platform to change those mentality and those crazy idea and those things that have become normal that are really abnormal, right? The idea of waiting for the government shouldn't be. The idea of waiting till when you are voted in and become a president with all the power shouldn't be. People should be taking initiative and taking responsibility and helping their community. So that's why I want to say that to them so they can hear it loud and clear, and maybe they will have a change of heart. So my closing remark is going to be that the reason why some of us here or those that will listen to us, the reason why you have a little bit more of anything, could it be knowledge, could it be idea, could it be skill, could it be wisdom, could it be cash, could it be power? The reason why you have a little bit extra above all other people is because so you can be able to use that to benefit others, to help others, to solve problems, to make the world a better place, to bring somebody up. That is the reason why you have that extra power, extra intelligence, extra wisdom, extra cash, and whatever it is that you have in extra that others don't have. It is for that purpose. It's not just for you to feel big and walk big and drive on the most expensive car and just pride yourself in it. It's not for that. It's for you to help others. That is what this foundation is all about. That's why some of us are passionate and we're able to stay up late till like 2 a.m. listening and learning and trying to see how we can give back to the world that has done so much for us. That's what we are all about. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for coming. I hope to see you guys next time. Have a good
Thank
one.
Wow.
you
Bye.
so very much, sir.
Thank you
Yeah.
so very
Thanks,
much. Thank you so
thanks,
very much.
Dr. J.
And from
Rumble, rumble, rumble in the jungle.
okay, Amjali, you're concluding, but
Yes, this has been quite informative, great build. Um, um, the topic about of today basically was like a great topic, one which is quite important that we that must be talked about. People just most people just gloss over it and just are not interested in more interested in monetary aspects of topical aspects that is straight away it's got like monetary value all over it. But there are some things that actually are more fundamental, which could actually lead to solutions, and these type of questions are one of them. And in my conclusion, I'll go back to how what I said in the beginning was that colonization never ended. It simply morphed into colonialism.
They have us colonize each other.
Yeah, I mean, plus it's the same people. No, it's the same people. It's just like what it is that it's colonization, but just without saying it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
so
That's
true.
it. It's new colonialism.
So true. Okay. So thank you so
So
much,
very much.
Amujale, for this. So on behalf of the Cetros family, we want to say we really appreciate every one of us for this contribution. And we look forward to next Sunday when we shall be discussing another topic. And just for the conclusion from me, myself, and my wife,
Thank you so
want to
very
say
much.
thank you so very
Thank
much.
you to everyone that's been
If that,
contributing to
yeah.
help this foundation. Want to say thank you. The youth have been coming for their training and they are always happy. In fact, we went for something today. Some of them saw us and they were like, they are just happy. That's in the
And
way.
one good thing is that even despite the fact that some universities are on strike, we still have one youth here.
That
Instead
is
of
an
wasting away
undergraduate.
an undergraduate, we are training him
Okay.
for free, and he's been learning photography and videography with us, and his life has been positively impacted. So we are glad we are able to touch in that
So,
aspect.
and
Then for this other aspect too, the billionaires that Dr. Ojo
yes,
mentioned,
they might not.
these I've had one-on-one uh, rapport with somebody like Mike Adenuga, because I worked in his bank before I retired this thing from banking. I worked with him. I know somebody like Mike Adenuga is not the lousy type.
The government
Is
will
a
not go allow
very
them.
so I know what he does. Mike Adenuga, if there is anybody that I know amidst all these billionaires, I've sat one-on-one. He was the one that interviewed me before I was employed in his bank, Equatorial Trust Bank. Then Mike Adenuga, somebody like that, must have try to do some things. But most of the time, these billionaires, they are not, they are also very careful. They are not allowed
The government will
to
not
do
allow them
some
to
things.
just
They don't give them free this, because
they will
I love to
want
be
them
fair.
to bring the money to
They will
them,
prefer
that
the
they should
billionaires to bring the
give them the
money.
money, and yet they will not
And
stop.
they'll do it, and they won't do anything.
They need to come and learn from us. There's a way to go about it. Who is the government without the people? Who is the
Right.
government without the people? That's the mindset. That's the wrong mindset. That's the way to do it. You guys give them all the power through
Because
the
you know what
greediness
I'm
of the
saying?
people and corruption, right? You got to
Because
get
Right.
that
It's like,
power back.
yeah, it's
somebody
like
like Mike
voting. It's like
Adenuga,
voting. When you vote,
somebody
you're giving away your power to governments. I mean, hate to say that word, but when you vote, you're giving your power away.
somebody like Mike Adenuga, I've seen not one, two, three situations that he has changed the life of ordinary cleaners. Ordinary cleaners, if you know how much he pays them, what it does for them at Christmas, some multinational companies cannot give it to their MD. So that's why I'm reacting based on that. This is somebody that can just pick somebody from the rag and turn their life around. And I know Otedola too also has that charisma, but they are only trying to be safe. People like you, Dr. Ojo, Amunjale, Jim, you are outside Nigeria for now.
But we are here.
We are here. There are some things that cannot
I
work.
know. I feel terrible about it. I hate to say it because I really
So
don't have that full picture yet.
yes. So these guys also have to be very, very careful so that they don't overstep their boundaries. You understand? So give it to them. They are trying. Some of them even have foundations that they are sponsoring, but we might not know about them. But what we know is that with the little that we have, anyone we get in contact with, we can turn their life around. So far they are serious. That's just my own. Once I know that this youth is serious, we pump in our attention to that. We really appreciate everyone. We appreciate you, Dr. Ojo. We appreciate Amujale. We appreciate Jim. We appreciate every one of us. So
Yes,
till
I'm
next
interested
week.
to support your foundation stuff. So yes.
Okay.
Yeah, go get subscribe to Rumble. There's going to be a link for the Cetros Foundation on it. We
Okay.
need to get away. And by the way, if anybody hasn't liked this video already, please like
All
it.
right, it's in the
It's
chat.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
The
yeah,
link
yeah.
is in
I
the
put it
chat.
in the chat. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So let's get to that Rumble page because we're fully monetized. I bought the account that everything your videos do is monetized. You're going to get advertisements on your video and you're going to start getting a revenue stream. Yeah, it may be small in the beginning because you don't have, but if you migrate all your videos over there, guess what happens? All that content that's sitting on YouTube right now that is not making you money will make you money. It will. You have great content.
No problem about that. Okay. So, Amujale, we also have a
GoFundMe
GoFundMe account.
account.
We have a GoFundMe
Yeah.
account.
Yes.
So, this is our GoFundMe account. You can click on it. It will take you down to our GoFundMe page where whatever you want to contribute, you can always contribute into that as
Yes,
well.
and as
So
many that want to contribute,
as
because we are in another phase now, going further to discover
we
more
are
of
going
these
to
youths.
villages,
Yes,
so
so
because our own,
Awesome.
we are not waiting for these youth to come to us, because
Yep.
they might never be able to access the town where we are.
Exactly.
So we are going to their rustic environment. Their, some of the I went to one village. Let me make you laugh. I went to one
Yep.
village. They said I should be careful that there are some witches and wizards there. I'm sure. I'm sure some people might be scared of going to such villages to assist. But we are taking this as what God has sent us to do. We go there, see where those youth needs help, and offer them help, because traveling to a village for spending 2 days on the road to get to a village is interesting. But I tell you, we will find those ones that are serious
serious.
out and help them out. So, with that being said, we want to appreciate all of you. We say thank you so very much. So, if you've not subscribed to our Rumble channel, kindly subscribe, because it's because I'm treating malaria this week. I'll be able to upload some video. Even as we are speaking now, I've uploaded one video on the Rumble.
You did?
Yes,
Woo!
that is
Yeah! This is a victory.
Yeah.
Victory for Victor and Victoria. Yes.
what's it called? 5 minutes after this live stream, just go to that Rumble channel. The video is going to be.
Woo!
I'm trying to put in what's
Oh,
it
I
called?
can't wait to go. I'm out of here. Bye.
I'm trying to put it thumbnail. I'm trying to put the thumbnail there. So, Aolola to me, it's nice seeing you. So, from there, we want to say thank you
Thank
so
you
very
so
much,
very much,
sir.
sir.
Bye bye, everyone. See you next
I
week,
know.
same time. Okay,
I know.
bye.